All right. This is the Brands Experts Podcast. Okay. We focus on specific brands and experts and how they are experts at what they do and how you can be experts with your brand as well. So, right, we're back again. I'd like to thank everybody that checked out first episode. Right, it was great. It was our first episode. This was, you know, the business consulting firm that owns a podcast really stepped up and everything, and created a great platform. So this is going to be strong. This already is strong, but it's just going to get stronger over time, right? So I'd like to thank everybody that checked out the first episode, right? If you haven't, make sure you check that out. It's a great episode. But we're going to continue to move forward in the things that we're doing with the podcast, right? So right here, we're focusing on the 4 foundational areas of a strong brand. Now, here are the 4 foundational areas. First one is recognition. The second one is consistent quality. The third one is authentic destinations. And the fourth one is updated community. All 4 are really important. And, you have to have these, right? If you want to not just have a brand, but you want to have a strong brand, right? These 4 things, no matter what you're doing, have to, be the foundational pieces, right? And there's advanced stuff, right? We're going to have an episode where we get into the advanced areas of a strong brand, right? But these are the foundational areas, okay? And we'll probably throw a bonus in there just because it is so important. So you'll get a bonus, right? So stick around for that to hear about the bonus. But let's get to it. Recognition, right? So, like being able to be recognized, right, with your brand is very important, right? Not to just have something random, right? Like your logo, your quality, right? Those are things that are tied into your recognition, right? When you see a Nike logo, that's recognized as an authoritative logo in the sports space and even in the fashion space, right? When you see that check, right, you associate that with success. You should associate that with something very nice, right? You associate that with Michael Jordan and LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, right? The top level players, right? In basketball, football. So, when you see the Nike logo, right? That is recognized as something that is, a strong brand for sure. And so we want your brand to have that same recognition, right? It's very important to have strong recognition with your brand. Okay. So you can't forget that, right? You have to remember, right? Not just your logo, your quality, your match your logo, right? The stores that your products are sold in, the podcasts that you get on, the TV shows that you get on, the YouTube channels that your brand gets on, right? There has to be strong recognition tied to that, okay? The next area is consistent quality. Listen, whenever you make something, whatever you do something, right, your quality is very important. It has to happen consistently. It's not just, one time you did something good or 2 times you did something good or something like that. Like every time you do something, you want that quality to always be solid and improve, right? You don't want to just do a video and you just roll out of bed and you have to get your eyes cleaned and you have to do all that kind of stuff, right? If you're doing videos, right, what kind of camera are you using, right? Are you just going to go to the corner, get a free phone and turn the camera on? Like you could do that. And if you are at that point, there's nothing wrong with that. But you want to evolve to the point to where you're having a nice camera. You want to evolve to the point to where you're looking at your video playback or you're doing video editing with your podcast episodes, things like that. Like these are the types of things we're talking about with consistent quality. If you're hiring somebody, if you're hiring a company, make sure they're coming in with great quality as well. You don't just want to hire somebody and wonder if things are going to work out or if they're, really have the best interest of your brand. You want to make sure that they're going to be able to deliver the quality that your clients and your customers deserve, look for, and know your brand to have. Okay. So those things are extremely important, right? When you're building a strong brand, because it's not just about building a brand, it's about building a strong brand, right? You want to have a strong brand, right? That has a presence, right? That's known, as the leader in your space. Okay. So to have consistent quality, right? Really important to hit those goals. Okay. Next thing we're going to get into is authentic destinations, right? When you're sending your clients to your website and things like that, you need to make sure it's authentic. Okay. You need to make sure that when you're talking about your URL and thinking you're putting it on your videos and things like that, like you research that kind of stuff, right? You make sure you had a good URL. You make sure the domain is correct, right? It's authentic. It's tied into your brand. You don't want, someone to go to your website and see some stuff that's not in alignment with what you're doing. And you want to make sure it's at authentic destinations. Okay. When stuff is being sold in different spaces, like at boutiques or in malls, you want to make sure that stuff is quality. You want to make sure you're not just selling like random stuff, like it's just thrown in places and things like that. No, you want to make sure that it's put in stores that you trust, right? You don't want to make sure if you're selling clothes, if you're selling whatever if you're actually selling physical products, you want to make sure that they're in spaces that you trust, that your clients will trust, right? That have, good alignment with your brand. You don't want to, like, if you're selling clothes, you don't want to just put them in a random like gas station just because you're like, cool, they're going to get sold and things like that. Like, if that gas station is not known for selling quality products, why are your products in there, right? Like, you want to make sure that those destinations are authentic to your brand. Okay. So if you're putting the stuff in there, you want to make sure you take a good look at that, right? You go over that with your team. You want to make sure that that kind of stuff is locked down. Your websites are authentic. The domains on your social medias, right? Your Instagram, your YouTube, all this kind of stuff are authentic, right? So you want to make sure you're sending people to the right places, because the last thing you want is your clients to get scammed, right? To get done wrong, and then just to feel bad, to feel frustrated, to feel like you did not lead them to the right place to get the desired result that they wanted. So you just want to make sure that that's what's going on, right? You're always leading your community to an authentic destination. It's really important to do that. Like, I think a lot of brands don't take that as important, but that's not something that we want you to do. We want you with your brand to lead your community to authentic destinations, because it's really important, right, to do that, to lead your community to authentic destinations. Just follow through with that kind of stuff. Okay. Like, don't slack on that. Don't, take it easy. That stuff is really important. Okay. Remember that it's not nothing to play with. It's not nothing to, because when you lead people to the wrong places, that's sending a bad reputation to your brand. And you don't want that kind of stuff, right? You want your brand to grow, get more sales, gain more trust with your community, and just continue to build from there, right? The last one we're going to get into is updated community. Okay. Last thing you want is to send people to your website, your social media page, things like that, and nothing's been on there for 2 years, 5 years. I mean, that looks like a letdown. That looks like you're letting people down. That looks like you're not taking your brand that serious, and that's not something you want to do. So, right, so how are you going to do this, right? So how's this going to happen? Well, this is going to happen by you with your, you build your email list, okay? And when you update them, like, you're going to say, okay, we're going to update our community weekly, monthly, wherever your drip sequence is. When you put out updated information, right? Make sure it's updated. Make sure you're sending them to authentic locations, right? And, just make sure that you're always going to keep them updated as much as possible. If you're going to do stuff on social media, if you could do it every day, just show up consistently for your brand, for your community. They know you're real, right? So, and then if you can go live, sometimes stuff like that, that puts another level of authenticity on your brand, right? With the, what was it called? But that puts another level of it on there, and that's something that you need. You don't need your brand to be questioned at all. You need it to be real. And as you're updating your community, right, and you're just consistently updating them with what's going on, the clients you're working with, right, that's another thing you can do. As you're working with clients, as you're meeting new people that you're working with, bring them on live with you if you can, if they're trusted, right? You don't want any crazy stuff going on live, but if you could bring them on live with you, right? If you can make video content, right? If you can do a podcast with them, right? Podcast episode, right? That's keeping your community updated. That's making your brand look authentic. That's making it look like, wow, okay, look at Nike. They're always doing updated commercials with LeBron James, always doing updated commercials with Ja Morant and their athletes and things like that. Okay, so you have to keep your community updated. That's very important, right? And if you look at all the strong brands, the Gucci's, the Louis Vuittons, the Lamborghini, go to their websites, go to their social media pages, go to, Google them, see what the different projects they're doing. Mercedes, all these brands, they're always updating the community on new product collections, on different things that they're doing, but they're always doing this kind of stuff, right? And that's something that we want you to do with your brand. It's very important for you to do that because we want you to have a strong brand. Don't want you just to have something. We want you to have something strong, something that, you can count on building as time goes on. And yeah, just, that's what we want you to have. And yeah, we'd like to thank you for checking out this episode of the podcast. Always be an expert of your brand.